There has been a lot that has gone on in both WWE and AEW since I last uploaded a video. My apologies for the long break, but I'm back here, and let's talk about some WWE and AEW news that is circulating around the pro wrestling world on Screw the Script. We'll start with WWE because I would say in the last week, 2 weeks, there's been a lot of bigger WWE stuff to tackle for me to give you and voice my opinion on these things. I think the one that stands out the most, not to get political on this channel at all, but just with everything that has gone on over out in the Middle East, we are seeing that Night of Champions is still happening over in Saudi Arabia. But a match was canceled. Dominik Mysterio and AJ Styles will not be happening at Night of Champions. Now, initially I thought, is it because one of these competitors, if not both of them, don't want to travel over there? I don't know if WWE gives leeway on that or allows such actions with their wrestlers. We have seen in past that Sami Zayn hasn't traveled over there with his, disconnection with Saudi Arabia and his viewpoints on matters over there. But then we saw this that was just announced not long ago, saying that apparently Dominik Mysterio is injured. Now, if that's the case, that's actually a bigger loss than them just choosing not to have the match on the card given personal reasons. If he truly is injured, that is yet another person injured in WWE. And I know they like to say that they don't do matches that are too over the top. They don't do these crazy spots. And they're smarter, they like to say, with the wrestling for longevity purposes. But is it just me, or are we seeing a lot more injuries lately happen in WWE versus AEW? I could be wrong, but it really seems like, if Dominik Mysterio is injured, that's one big wrestler. Liv Morgan is injured and is probably going to have to drop the tag titles. And, it just keeps happening. Even though he's not been in wrestling for long, he's a big draw, whether you like him or not. Logan Paul is injured, apparently. Where does it stop? And there's other injuries that have happened too, but those are the big ones that come to mind. And it seems to be becoming more frequent with WWE. This is the card right here for Night of Champions. So on that card, you see that the match was replaced, it looks like, by Sami Zayn. And we're going to see, I guess, and you know what? Karrion Kross has done a really good job these last few months. I didn't used to care for the guy at all. I really thought he was just all entrance. And after his initial NXT call-up, just was wasted, like many wrestlers in WWE. But he's turned things around for me. He's gotten a lot more interesting with these promos that he's doing backstage, and not even necessarily backstage, but just in signing events and everything. So I think that is a very good replacement match for Night of Champions. I just, with everything that has changed, and you look at the card and you're like, should this really be Night of Champions when they only have 2 titles? The only reason why you can still call it Night of Champions is because you at least have a second title match and not just one. Otherwise, it'd have to just be called Night of Champion. But nonetheless, the card looks decent. To start with it, I'll cover it real quick. My predictions. Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes is very obvious. I'm pretty sure. I'm 95% sure those were the 2 that I picked a few weeks ago when that King of the Ring tournament started. It was just the smart, safe, logical option to go with, and I'm pretty sure that's who I picked, if I'm not mistaken. Same with the women's, Jade Cargill. I picked her to go all the way, and I think I picked her to win. I think I picked her to face Stephanie Vaquer, so I was a little wrong on that one because it's Asuka. I'm picking Asuka to win this just because it seems like she's getting a heavy push since she returned. She returned and immediately just went through this tournament like that. Although I did read rumor that they're trying to push Jade Cargill, so this is a toss-up for me. I'm going to go Asuka, though. I forgot to say my pick for Cody and Randy. I think it's wiser at their times in their career to have Cody win this. And I'm also going to say Cody turns heel. That's my wild prediction for Night of Champions. I think he's going to get the win, but he's actually going to get the win by turning heel, maybe siding with Seth Rollins and his faction, because we've been seeing hints at that lately. John Cena and CM Punk, that should be pretty good. Again, I've expressed that I don't like that this is what they're saying and what they're billing it as their last ever match together. To have it happen overseas, especially in the climate that the world is in politically, I don't like that. But I can't really knock them too hard on that because it should still be a pretty decent match. My only gripe and concern with this match is they're both in their, well into their 40s. Are they going to be able to, is this, going to be a good match, essentially? On paper, it looks good, but is that because on paper 10 years ago it would have been great? What about now? I don't know about now because Cena's gotten older. He's slowed down. He's stiffer in the ring because he's older. Say what you want about John Cena. He's an old-timer, but he really, when it comes to actual true in-ring talent, he never really was like one of the all-time greats. Certainly not as great as the guy behind me. And now that he's older, it's only become more apparent. He's slow in the ring. And CM Punk is older as well. He gets gassed after like 5 minutes. You see his face turn red. We'll see what happens. I'm picking John Cena to win this, though, just via, cheating. Maybe he brings back the brass knuckles and does the 5-knuckle shuffle with that. So I'm picking Cody there. I really don't care about the other matches, to be honest. I guess I'll go with the street fight. I guess we'll go with Rhea on that. I'm going to go with Sami Zayn's a safe pick for the other match. I'm surprised he's going over there, so props to Sami for putting that personal stuff aside to fill in for an injured Dominik Mysterio, whether he's injured or not. And I guess I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu for the other match. So that's quick coverage on Night of Champions. And now we'll get on to some more news. Just 2 other WWE things I want to talk about real quick. We saw that WWE filed a trademark for the Oracle for Paul Heyman. It looks like that's going to be his new nickname for the group with Seth Rollins. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I feel more feelings towards the group itself rather than the name for Heyman. I don't know what it is, but this group isn't hitting for me. And that's saying something because I've expressed on my channel before how much I love Seth Rollins and how much I think Personally, I think he is the best PG era WWE wrestler. So from 2008 on, that's when PG era started. And that's when he started. Shortly after that, in like 2011, I think he was signed. 2012, they formed a Shield and so on. We'll see where this goes. But their group just feels like too mashed together, too random. I really don't think that Braun Breaker needs to be in a faction. I mean, I felt like he was trajecting up to the world title picture or WWE title picture after losing his title. Instead, it feels almost like he got demoted in a way. So I don't like that. I think Paul Heyman having all these different nicknames lately and being different mouthpieces for different people, I think it's starting to get stale, unfortunately, as great as he is. I think the biggest question mark, though, in all of this is why in the world is the guy that jumped Seth Rollins months ago and literally made him bleed from the mouth with so many splashes off the top rope, why is he in this group? It just doesn't feel right. Bronson Reed is definitely, I would say, the biggest outlier, but we'll see where this group goes. And then the last thing for WWE quick, R-Truth. Just feels like R-Truth again on SmackDown, this past SmackDown. The highlight was definitely Cena's pipe bomb. Not as good as CM Punk's, but it's the best you're going to get from this era of WWE, I'll just say that. But R-Truth, I mean, I got this little example here. Somebody said it really well. It was like the Ron Killings transformation canceled before it even began. He was supposed to drop the jokes, to snap, to be taken seriously, but he came out as R-Truth still on SmackDown, and it really just doesn't feel like they're totally capitalizing on the fan outcry to bring him back. I feel like they can be doing it a lot better. I do agree with this person that wrote this. We'll see, though, what happens with R-Truth. Now we'll go on to some AEW news quick. We saw Kota Ibushi return this last week. He's going to have and this was baffling to me, but he's going to have his very first singles match in AEW this upcoming Wednesday against Trent. I had to look back on him, and I was like, no way, is that his first ever? It is. It's his first ever singles match in AEW. He's back. I think he's really going to get pushed, so I'm excited to see that. We also have this announcement for All In Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, and it looks like they're trying to make this the biggest All In possible because they officially announced both a men and women's casino gauntlet match. So we're not going to just see a men's this time around. We're going to also see a women's casino gauntlet match. I think that's a great idea. AEW's women's division has been really good in 2025. Second half of 2024 is when it really started to just take off, and it hasn't stopped yet. It's still that their trajectory. It's just, to the moon with the women's division. So I think this is a very smart move by them. And then to tie into that for the women's division, according to Body Slam Net, it has been officially confirmed that AEW's Women Tag Team Championships have been established and are awaiting their official debut. Are we going to see that as a little, surprise reveal at All In? Are they going to save it for All Out? I'm not quite sure when this will happen. But this comes quite interesting news considering that they're pushing the women's division so hard in AEW. And I do think that this would be a great move for them to have, tag titles. That's great. But I'm also seeing counter reports in WWE where they may, now this is probably just a rumor, I saw it before recording this, that they're potentially considering getting rid of the women's titles over in WWE. Now that would be interesting timing considering that there's been an official announcement on AEW women's tag titles. You let me know down below what you think about that. That's all I had on this episode of Screw the Script. Just a big news dump and my thoughts on all those things. I'm going to get back to, more videos. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I had to take kind of a break just for personal reasons, but I'm back. Not going anywhere. I'm excited to cover Dynamite, so I'll have a video for that for you guys later this week. All In is right around the corner now. The Saudi Arabia show, Night of Champions, is still happening, so I will be covering that. Once again, this has been Maverick with Screw the Script. Thanks for watching.